You know it's a bye week when there's just rumors all over the place and people saying, did you see the message boards? Goodness gracious.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Brian Smith of The Portal back with us again this week. Of course, The Portal is Locked On's recruiting, transfer portal, NIL show. We'll talk about what could happen post-bye week for the Auburn Tigers, as well as the case to change quarterbacks. Let's just speculate on that. But Brian, things aren't going well when you're in a bye week, when there's like one message board post that becomes like people are like, did you hear this? Is there any truth to this? Is there any truth to this? And it's just, I think that just kind of shows the state that the fan base is in right now, because one guy posted on a message board that Hugh Freeze will not be on the sideline at Georgia. And that's the only place it's been. And some people are acting like it's got some weight to it.
I had not heard that, but it wouldn't surprise me. I'll just be open about it. I put out a short on YouTube about it. I put out a podcast about it.
Saw it.
Is he going to be the next guy to get canned? I mean, their offense is so embarrassing, and Auburn fans they've invested so much emotionally, and B, certain people financially.
Right.
That matters. And like, there's no excuse for the level of talent they have to be in this place. So would it shock me? No. My question is for you, assuming they did that, who would be the interim?
That would be Durkin.
You think so? Okay.
In fact, I think that's the only argument for moving on from him in the season. I'm not crazy about firing coaches in season.
Agreed.
But if Durkin internally is a candidate, I think this one makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
But I don't think now makes sense. If you're going to do it, I don't think now makes sense. Let's see if he can beat Georgia. Let's see if he can beat Missouri. But yeah, I just don't get the upside of doing it now. So that's it for me. And look, you've invested a ton. And also, Brian, going into it, we knew that there was a real possibility that you would have 2 losses at this point in the season.
100%.
Now, obviously, it's what it looked like. Talked with Chris Gordy of Locked On SEC a little bit yesterday, and he's like, look, if Auburn has Missouri's schedule up to this point, they're undefeated. If they've got the same schedule as Texas, they have the same record as Texas up to this point. This is definitely the glass half full way of looking at it. This isn't how I truly feel about it. But I do think it's worth arguing, if we're going to argue both sides of this, is Auburn has had a brutal test over the last 2 weeks. Oklahoma, a little bit easier to swallow than last week, obviously, for different reasons. But the fact of the matter is, it didn't look good. And there's no hope in this offense coming together in year 3 under an offensive-minded head coach. And to me, that's the issue. It's not the losses. And so then the question is, if that's the true issue, which it is for me, I picked Auburn going into the season to lose both of those games. And I picked them to lose against Georgia. And then I picked them to win out until the Iron Bowl. I think you got to wait. I think you got to wait and see what you can do at home. And I got to see what you got to do as far as, okay, can you mold an offense around your personnel, arguably for the first time since you've been Auburn's head coach?
I'm past that personally, but I'll just speak for how most fans look at it.
You're past what specifically?
Giving you Freeze the benefit of the doubt with the offense. I mean,
what would you do right now?
Right now, I if I'm the AD, or there's no nice way to say this, the people with money that are involved in it, don't ever think that they're not involved, because if you don't make them involved, the next head coach, you won't get who you want because they won't spend for it. But that being said, they got to figure, okay, why are we not just they are horrific on offense.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to be bad, but they're in the Power 4, Name 5 worse offenses. Could you? UCLA, maybe. Northwestern, maybe.
But yeah, I think I could get there. Kentucky
is like, yeah, that's almost a guarantee.
Yeah.
But are you sure that they're going to beat Kentucky, though?
Yes.
You really think so? I wouldn't guarantee it. I mean, they just scored 10 points and were gifted 7. I mean,
yes, I think Auburn beats Kentucky. Yes.
I mean, I would pick it, but would you?
I think Auburn beats Arkansas.
For the love of God, they better.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst team in the SEC by a mile. But anyway, I just think 2 things. People will not accept a team that can't throw the football. Everybody wants aesthetics now, and that's not the way to look at it, but that's how fans do it. And Auburn aesthetically is awful to watch. You and I struggle to watch, though.
It is tough to watch it, for sure.
And when you're an Auburn fan, and I get paid to like cover this stuff, and it's hard for me to watch it. That's a problem. And then you said it. He is supposed to be the offensive mind, and while he's got other guys allegedly calling third, he's calling all the plays. Let's not kid ourselves.
Right.
And it's awful. Why would he, at this point, as veteran as he is, be given the benefit of the doubt?
Because at some point you've got to care about how this ends for you, right? Like at some point you've got to care. You could pitch future the last 2 years. You can't pitch future anymore. You've got an awesome roster. The way you change how you talk about your team over this past offseason, because it is good enough. The issue is he has not shown any sort of ability to identify an elite quarterback in the portal. He picked Peyton Thorne twice. And then everything that everyone outside of Auburn said about Jackson Arnold up to this point has been true. And that sucks. That's really, really, I wanted them all to be wrong so bad. But up to this point, like that has not been the case. And there's people that want to put it on the offensive line. And you could do that to some extent. That's not where I'm camping out, but like I get it. The play calling is still putting them in awful situations. And that to me is the biggest issue. And so like if you want to blame the offensive line, you can. Xavier Chaplin's getting a lot of credit, but that's on Jake Thornton because they're not prepared.
100%.
And then, and Aaron Murray's video breaking all that down was pretty revealing. I don't think he hit the full picture, and he didn't have enough time to. I mean, it would have taken hours for him to hit the full picture on all of that. He just picked a few plays, and I think did an outstanding job. But there are plays where he does get protection, and he's just sitting there. And then there's also plays where like he gets the protection because there's only 2 or 3 guys running routes, which is ridiculous. But also you're in these situations where it's 2nd and long, 3rd and long when you're not willing to run the ball on 1st down. And so I don't know how this coaching staff, like they found a way to make sure no one on offense benefits from any of the stuff that they're calling.
This is one of the most, you just hit it. This is one of the most disjointed offensive schemes.
There's no plan, Brian.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
RPO is meant to be just what it sounds like, a run pass, and it's an option. Do you really think at this point, based on how he handles pocket, Jackson makes good decisions? Obviously not. And you're running a strict RPO offense. You're giving him it's like playing wizard. He's not ready to be the wizard. He may never be ready to be the wizard. You got to start calling things that are non-RPO, and this is just what you do.
Yeah, this isn't the best example because his offense wasn't great against Auburn, but like when you look at Texas A&M's plan for Marcel Reed, like I'm a Marcel Reed guy, but he does have limitations. But like if you look at the plan that they put together for him against Notre Dame a few weeks ago, it's like they clearly have a way that they want to use him. They want to highlight his athleticism. They want to highlight, chunk plays. And that's awesome. That's great. Then they're not afraid to use the rushing attack because they've been able to move the football. I don't know if we have a plan for Jackson Arnold.
That's what I mean. It's just, this is RPO. Either you figure it out or you don't. They're putting him out there with really no security blanket. He needs help. He's not good at diagnosing after the snap, which, to be blunt,
a lot of people are.
It's everything. And that's what he's supposed to do. It's just, it needs to be more conservative.
Well, most quarterbacks can't
go
4 reads into a passing pad. Like the ones who do, there's 20 of them and they're playing on Sundays. Like it's hard. It's hard to do. And so you gotta make it where they can operate within a system that they can win. And we're not doing that.
They need to limit it a little more. You just mentioned a second ago, 2 and 3 receivers. I'm actually not against that. Max protect after you started running the ball. Cut the field in half. Obviously, he's a freak athlete. You can't say that he's not.
Yeah. Half
field reads. Got a check down guy. Got a guy running a corner out. And maybe somebody that's a hook 12 yards. There's 3. They're all right together. Make it simple and run the ball. If that doesn't work, you know what? We punt.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But that's what I mean. They haven't adjusted. They're doing the same thing over and over and failing. What's that definition? Insanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a case to change quarterbacks during the bye week? This is something I've kind of gone back and forth on. I think I've changed my mind on it, but let's discuss it anyway. Next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, you can bet $5. $5. If your first $5 bet hits, you get $300 back in bonus bets. I mean, come on. You unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Futures bets for college basketball just dropped. Auburn has, I believe, the 6th best odds. I think they're plus 1,900 right now on FanDuel to win the SEC regular season. If you're interested in what Stephen Pearl's Tigers can do, what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Square. Your neighborhood spots run on Square. We love small businesses. It's what makes college towns feel like college towns. It makes what, Auburn and the Opelika area have so many great neighborhood spots, small businesses, and Square supports all of them. In fact, Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy to. Square. See you in the neighborhood. Brian Smith, host of The Portal, hanging out with us for a few minutes. Let's discuss the case of changing quarterbacks. I know you're pro Deuce Knight, and I was in the camp of doing this immediately after the game. I've since changed my mind the more I've thought about it, but I know you're pro Deuce Knight, and I want to hear your arguments for this.
At minimum, he needs to play some. He's got to get, quote unquote, acclimated. And everybody's going to say, well, it's Georgia. Yeah, but Missouri's defense might be just as good. Like, that's crazy, but it really might be. And there are a lot of other teams in the SEC they're going to have to play, like, Alabama, that have somebody. Kentucky can't score. Is their defense friendly? A little easier, but every team you play, he's going to be at a disadvantage. He's got to go through the meat grinder at some point.
Yeah.
And I know I'm biased because I know the kid, but he's one of the most talented kids that I've ever been around at any year. I've been doing this over 20 years. You got to put him on the field in some capacity because it's just not working for him. At least give him a few series. You're obviously not a playoff team, and that's the only real objective if you're Auburn. Let's be honest. You're building for the future. And it's right now, to me, this is like spring practice. Who's going to be the starting quarterback in 2026? Deuce needs series in every single game at minimum. And if he hits, then he replaces Jackson Arnold. I'm not saying just replace Jackson, but Deuce needs to get at least some series.
Yeah. I mean, especially if that were to happen, I don't know how likely that is to happen, but if it were to happen, I mean, I'm just thinking Georgia, with that crowd, and if he were to run out there, especially like with Cam Newton in attendance, you know how special that would be for that kid? That'd be awesome.
I didn't really think about it that way, but I'm sure Cam will talk to him regardless if he's going to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a nice little added bonus, I suppose. The crowd needs something to be happy about.
Yeah, there'd be something about Deuce getting a moment when you're on the same night you're retiring number 2. There's something to
that's pretty wild, by the way.
There'd be something poetic about that. I don't know how likely it is, but there'd be something. What a story that could be, right?
Why not? And again, I'm just looking at it long term. Auburn wants to be in the national championship race. Right now, they're light years from it because the passing game's so bad. It just nullifies
counter argument, and I'm putting my Auburn hat on right now. If you beat Georgia, big if you beat Georgia, why can't you beat Missouri? And then once you do that, and you're like, oh, okay, it's still tough, but it gets easier. Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Mercer. If you pull that off, you're what? 9-2 going into the Iron Bowl? It's a big if. You got to fix the offense. And if you tell me that you're running it 10 extra times a game and your play calling makes more sense, like, I don't think that's impossible. Is it unlikely? Sure. Is it impossible?
No.
Then all of a sudden the Iron Bowl becomes like a playoff game.
That's technically true, but I still go back to the same thing.
It's a big leap. It's a big leap, but
I just don't think Jackson can make enough reads after the snap. I don't think he's comfortable past read.
Do you think Hugh Freeze could call an offense where Jackson doesn't have to make as many reads?
100%. Every coach.
Do you think he will? No shot.
You know why? This is not just a Hugh Freeze thing. You know who the most stubborn people on planet Earth are?
Football coaches.
That would be the correct answer. They would rather lose than have somebody do it a different way. Like, they are that stubborn. It's unbelievable. That's not a Hugh Freeze thing. Like, I know coaches everywhere. They are the most ridiculous, hard-headed people I've ever met. There are very few that adjust very much.
Do you think there's a chance that they run it more on early downs?
I think that will be kind of obvious that they have to, because Georgia, I mean, obviously they've got talent everywhere. In their last game against Bama, they had 8 different 5-stars with 25 or more snaps. That's insanity. They still can't rush the passer, though, which is hilarious.
That is wild.
I was talking to a few people about that. It's like, how is this possible? But anyway, Auburn, if they're not able to throw against UGA, they should stop the season. Like, they can't rush the passer. They've got good DBs, but I don't care if you got Dion reincarnated at some point.
Well, there's not a whole lot of, I mean, as Aaron Murray did a great job of showing, doesn't seem like communication as far as who's getting who makes a ton of sense. So, like, if I'm playing Auburn, I'm stunting the heck out of the
absolutely
front.
That's the one thing. Their linebacker coach / coordinator, he's as technical as it gets, just basic, but they're big guys. They don't have the 6'4", 250 guy on the edge anymore. Yeah. That guy, ironically, Damon Wilson is who it is. He transferred to Missouri. You'll hate him the next week. But they don't have it at UG. It's hilarious. He did. That guy is not there. You're not going to just run it every time, but you're going to have more success putting yourself in 3rd and 5 than you are 3rd and 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it. And Jackson is annoying as all get out as a runner. 3rd and 5, if you do not spy the quarterback, he's no fun. Because that's 220 pounds of muscle coming to, he has no fear. Him and Gunnar Stockton are the same guy mentality-wise.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Jackson's got an extra gear that I think most people realize. We saw it against Baylor. We got to get back to that. They could beat Georgia, but they need a special play in the passing game. And do you trust him to make that at some point? I can see him running for $150. All right, now.
You know, but you got to throw for 225 or something like that.
Well, there's just no confidence to throw like a 50-50 ball to Cam. And that, I think, needs to be part of this.
My mom can throw a 50-50 ball to Cam. Like, for the love of God, he's a condor.
He's just so afraid to turn it over, I guess, is what's happening. Everything's just a little bit too slow. Like, everything's always a step behind, and then you've got a potential like out.
Yeah, exactly. He waits till the guy's wide open, then throws it. It's too late. Like, you got to see it. Like, he doesn't trust his own eyes, and that's the other reason I think Deuce should play at least a few series.
Yeah, I don't think you can fix that once the season starts. I think that's just kind of who you are at this point.
I agree.
All right, so what could happen next? We take a stab at it next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, from footwork to breathwork. Athletes sweat all the details, and Mazda brings the same intention to how they craft every model. You make everyday drives feel like anything, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Game Time is the best place to buy college football tickets. Look, regardless of what the offense looks like, Jordan Hare is going to be insane next Saturday when they host Georgia under the lights on Cam Newton retirement night. It's going to be electric. You want to be there. Game Time can help you do that. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDONCollege. You'll get $20 off those tickets. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Brian Smith, host of The Portal, Locked On's Recruiting, Transfer Portal, NIL podcast, posted a ton of content. So what could happen next for the Auburn Tigers? Obviously, Georgia and Missouri, like the season, the last 2 weeks has been brutal. It's taken a downward turn. The opportunity to fix everything is right in front of you. You just got to go out and win a game that nobody's believing that you can win right now.
I mean, if they win Georgia, do you think they get to at least 8 wins pretty much automatically? I would say yes. I think they at least make it to 8. But is that going to be more because Georgia's defense isn't Georgia's defense anymore, or is that because Auburn fixed it? Which would you think it would be? Because, again, they cannot rush the passer.
Well, I'm worried. I'm worried about free rushers.
Oh, stunts and stuff.
Yeah, I'm worried about
Schumann's good. He's a good
and that's been kind of the main issue. Like we're getting beat from time to time, but a lot of the times it's like when there is pressure early, it's just there's a rusher that they didn't grab. So
that's awkward.
Can you fix that in a bye week? Possibly, but there's some level of like communication that's not where it needs to be for Auburn's O-line right now.
I don't understand that because like I go to every major high school in the South over a 5-year period, it seems like, and they all work on the same drills at that level as they do college.
Yeah.
Stunts are not that. I mean, you played interior O-line. It's not that rough. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, everybody wants to throw coaches under the bus, and I get it. At some point, this is a player. Like, it's really generic how you do it. That's a player problem more than – I know nobody wants to hear that. Yeah. It's a lot harder to fix the player than it is to get rid of a coach, but that's really simple. I
think you have other options at tackle, though, is what's frustrating to me. I know – and, I mean, this will never be confirmed, right? But I just wonder if it's because they paid those tackles so much money and why Tutal's not playing.
It's kind of like I said with Jackson sitting down, even if it's for a series, sometimes that's the motivator. I heard a clip the other day from the late Bob Knight saying there is no greater motivator than the bench meeting your, you know what. And he's right.
Yeah.
That sometimes you just have to sit a guy down no matter how good he is. And it's amazing how they will play better.
Jake Thornton, I don't know if you've heard this talking point yet, but a live mic picked up Jake Thornton telling Chaplin, if you jump off sides again, I'm going to pull you. He jumps off sides and he stays in. That's a big deal culturally, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's not Chaplin that heard it. It's all the guys around him. That's the problem.
It's like, oh, there's no bite. There's no bite.
That would be the biggest problem I would have if I was Freeze. I would tell him, if you say that, you gotta follow through. I'm sure that's made it back to you at some point. You know, that's different. I didn't know that. That makes me a little squeamish. That concerns me because once the players don't respect you, brother, it is. And that position has more players than any other. That's a big problem. That is a really big problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
I can tell by your reaction, like how you really feel about that. you like don't know what to say.
That makes me wonder if he's the guy to be the O-line coach. Like that's not a good sign.
I'm sure
he's
getting some criticism this week for sure.
I hate saying that about guys, but like you can't say that at this level. Either you do it or you don't. There's no gray area here. This is SEC football. Once those players don't respect you, some of those younger guys don't. You'll see guys go to the portal. Like that can go south quickly.
Yeah.
That's no bueno.
Yeah. I think culturally that's not great. So
no, it's not.
Yeah. And so like, I think over the bye week, you've got to play around with the O-line personnel. I mean, even if you let Chaplin keep it, like you got to send the message that.
Oh yeah. During practice, it's open. You have to have like, except for maybe Connor, like you don't want to like change centers.
I think the interior's been fine.
Yeah, like for the most, yeah,
Jeremiah had a rough game against Oklahoma, but the whole O-line had a rough game against.
Everybody's going to have a rough game against Oklahoma. Every one of those guys is going to get drafted.
They're very good up front.
Yeah,
I mean, they're a good football team as a whole, but
right.
But yeah, I mean, I think the interior's been fine for sure. But just when you have options at tackle, whether you want to scoot Dylan Wade back out to left tackle and put DeAndre Carter in, or find a way to put Cale Ellis on the field at one of those interior spots, or too tall. I think you could put too tall at tackle or guard. So I don't know, man.
That right there answered a question I was going to give to you. Do you think they could improve enough with Jackson / the O-line to at minimum still win 8 games? For me, it's absolutely not. Because if you got that kind of cultural problem on the O-line, that's going to bite you in every game. That's right.
So I mean, let's think about the path to 8.
Okay.
You're at 3-2 right now, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, 3-2. So you've got Georgia, not looking likely. If you're talking about getting to 8, you got to beat Missouri.
Missouri is, I told you this about 3 weeks ago. That's the game. You got to, they're going to be.
Missouri's very good, but like level of competition, a little questionable, and they haven't played on the road yet. So their first road game will be at Jordan-Hare. So that matters. How much does it matter? We'll see. So you gotta win that one. You gotta win at Arkansas, which I think you will. You have to beat Kentucky at home. I think you will. You have to go to Vandy and win. Right now, I think I would pick Vandy. If they were playing this Saturday, I would pick Vandy, but it's a winnable game. You got to capitalize on their defense not being great, and I don't feel confident in our ability to do that yet. But I do think Auburn's defense is a good matchup for Pavia. And then you got to beat Mercer. And like all 5 of those games are winnable. Not any of those games are like, yeah, there's no shot Auburn can win that.
You got to win 2 out of 3 of Georgia, Vandy, and Missouri. That's going to be tough.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's what your task is every year at the university. So we know it going in. So it's nothing new.
Yeah.
But like the problem with the O-line, my zero faith in Jackson Arnold on 3rd down and 10. Like, we're not playing anybody though out of that group. Like legitimately, they're not going to play a team the rest of the year. This is unbelievable. Saying this about the SEC, that is unbelievable at rushing the pass. Not one. This is the worst year I've ever seen in major college football for pass rushers. I don't know why. Missouri's probably got the best group because they got Damon Wilson. Auburn fans will hate him very soon, but that's the only one. Like Alabama's not rushing the passer very well, or Georgia. It's so wild.
That's interesting.
So wild. Yeah,
that's interesting.
I don't know what it is.
Brian Smith, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Locked on the portal. You can find it's right now. It's basically who's getting fired. That's the name of the channel, basically. And yes, Hugh Freeze has had more than a few things go up on my channel, but there's a lot of stuff recruiting wise. It's everything's based on it. So whether you check it out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever, Locked on the portal.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been Locked on Auburn.